So, if you guys have been on the internet recently, you would know about the ongoing feud between the YouTubers Boogie2988 and Frank Hassle. In this video, I will be covering exactly what happened in the situation, an unbiased overview of the situation, the perspectives of both Boogie2988 and Frank Hassle, and who is actually right in this situation. There's a lot to cover, guys, so make sure you stick around until the very end of the video. Also, over 90% of you guys who are watching this video right now are not subscribed, so if you end up liking the video, please consider subscribing. It's free and you can unsubscribe whenever you want. Let's get into an overview of the situation. Over the span of a couple of years, roughly 4 years, Frank Hassle and Boogie2988 have not really had the best relationship with each other on YouTube and all other social media platforms. This derived from Frank Hassle trolling Boogie2988 and sending hate mobs towards him, as Boogie describes. Boogie's responses were, to say the least, probably not the best responses. However, this back and forth between Boogie and Frank Hassle has really been reasonably normal for internet beef or drama, or at least until recently. This brings me to the recent Dramaalert interview between Boogie2988 and Frank Hassle, in which a lot of rather vulgar conversation took place, in which Frank Hassle threatened to come to Boogie's door, and the way in which Boogie responded multiple times, over 5 times, was very unexpected, to say the least, threatening to shoot Frank if he came to his door. Now, obviously, people on the internet make blanket claims like this all the time, and obviously, in my opinion, this is pretty stupid, and internet beef in a normal real-life situation is just a waste of time. However, both individuals clearly had a real intention to follow through with their threats, because today footage has been leaked of Frank Hassle being on Boogie's land and Boogie actually firing a warning shot at him. It is unknown if there was any more shots fired, but let's roll the clip of this.
Come on, you fucking pussy, what's the deal? Where's the gun at, you fat faggot? Open fire! Open fire!
Hey, Sam, this doesn't have to, Sam, it doesn't have to go down this way, buddy.
You're a fat pussy. You won't even open the door?
I will.
And then what, you're gonna shoot me?
No, I think my roommate will.
You're gonna kill me?
I guess so, buddy. Just give me a second to get my dog wrangled.
You're a fucking pussy, dude.
Oh, hold on, I'll show you what.
Now, obviously this situation is very complicated and there are lots of pieces to this puzzle, so let's take a look at it as a whole from both Boogie2988 and Frank Hassle's perspectives. Now, from the perspective of Frank Hassle, Boogie is a very weak-minded individual who probably can't take many insults or jokes that he would normally send towards people, let alone to himself. Frank is a prank YouTuber, so based on the way in which he's carrying himself in this interaction/situation in a very aggressive and kind of trolling manner, it is pretty obvious that he views this whole situation as a joke/prank on Boogie. And showing up to Boogie's doorstep to him is just another piece to this whole prank. Frank finds it enjoyable to watch Boogie freak out over insults and trolls that are just minuscule in his mind. He views it as a game to troll Boogie. I'm going to be fully honest and say that I do think Boogie is a bit too sensitive of a person for a YouTuber with over 4 million subscribers, and I think that he probably should improve himself in that manner and improve his self-confidence. However, I do not think that every situation is really just that fault. I think that there are some situations where there are boundaries and there are points in which it goes a little too far. Now, taking a complete 180, let's take a look at how this situation would feel from the perspective of Boogie. Boogie is a very sensitive person who has been under the scrutiny of Frank's trolling for years, and obviously the toll that this has taken on his mental health is undeniably massive. All the added up trolling has really snapped him. Boogie has been bent over way too far, and now he wants to fire back. While in my opinion, and I'm sure a lot of you guys will agree with me, he does need to work perhaps on developing some thicker skin and better self-esteem/confidence. It is still a very difficult and possibly dangerous situation to be in when someone who's been trolling you for years is actually threatening to meet you in real life. Now, with both sides of the story in mind and a comprehensive overview of what exactly took place in the situation, let's really go into who is really in the wrong and who is in the right. Now, obviously for the sides of both Boogie and Frank, there are negative and positive aspects to their actions in this situation. I could even make the argument that in some parts of the situation they are both equally in fault. However, to get a real understanding of who is morally right, we need to dive. From the standpoint of legality, Boogie is in the right for using a weapon in order to defend himself from someone who is coming onto his property without his permission. But some people could also make the argument that it is a pussy move and it's weak, and why didn't he just face Frank? If you come from that standpoint, I would like you to ask yourself and do one thing. What would I do if I was in Boogie's situation? I could almost certainly say that you would do something that is just as weak. Now, without getting into all the minor details in this story, because there are so many of them, and I feel like we have touched on enough of them in all the previous parts, let's take a good step back from all of this and think about it from a moral standpoint. My take on this is very much so that Frank is in the wrong for the way in which he treated Boogie, and going to his house was way too far for someone who was doing internet trolling. I'm not doubting that Boogie could not have handled himself better in the situation, but the whole way in which Frank conducted himself was completely inappropriate from a moral standpoint. And obviously this is shown through basically going to his house and saying he's a pussy for getting a gun out and trying to defend himself. And obviously this is very, very stupid on his part. This is very immature, and it shows that he really lacks morals. Now, obviously I'm not going to get all agreement in the comments, and the like to dislike ratio is probably going to show that too. But I'm sure you guys can let me know down in the comments below what you thought about this, and if you disagree with me and you're already subscribed, please don't unsubscribe, because it's just my opinion this time, and I'm sure you guys will 100% respect the fact that I have an opinion on this situation. Anyways, I'm sure you guys really enjoyed this video. If you didn't enjoy it, drop a dislike. If you enjoyed it, drop a like. Anyways, peace out.